everyone, I'm Allie. Join me in making Kimri's full circle bracelet. So in her design, she used beading wire. I'm gonna show you how to do some with thread and needles, but you can also just use beading wire and crimp. It's a cool design that can be used as a single bracelet, a stackable bracelet, or even a wraparound bracelet too, making it a little longer, using the rhombus and the semicircles. Gather up your materials that were listed above and join me in making this fun, cute, simple two. Since Kimri has two kind of darker colors, I decided to go all out girly with the pink and purple and some gold seed beads to go in between. We're going to be adding 11 O's between our semicircles to get that full circle. And then on the sides of the rhombus beads, we'll add some of the 8 O seed beads. And you can see that there's kind of room in between there too. If you want to add a little 11 O between there, you can add that as well too. I have 2 needles, and these are 2 size 10 needles on some 0.006 wildfire beading thread. And I have on black thread so that way you can see it, and about 4 feet of beading thread will do it. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to pick up 3 of my 11 O's in that gold color. Let them drop down to the middle of my thread and pick up my button. This is a table cut button in the pink swirl, and I'm going to take 1 needle through one side, 1 needle through the other side. If you're using wire and needles, or wire and beading cable, I would recommend just using some bead stops to go ahead and get that started. Coming out the back of this design then, we're going to go ahead and add 2 of our 11 O's on both the right and the left needle. Let those drop down next to your button. You want to make sure that you're maintaining an equal amount of thread on both the right and the left needle. From here, we're going to pick up an 8 O seed bead, and I want you to take the 8 O with 1 needle going from right to left and the other from left to right. You're going to go ahead and let that drop down next to the button, and then you have that nice little kind of V stitch there. We want to separate the needles back out since we're going to be running the thread down either side of our rhombus or our semicircle. So we're going to add an 11 O seed bead, 2 on the right and 2 on the left. And I chose to do them in the gold color. And if I was doing this off camera, I would be using some white thread with the colors that I've chosen. Because I'm on camera, I want you to be able to see it a little bit easier. Coming out then after the 11 O's, we're going to start with our circles. We're going to start with the first circle going through with the arched side or the bowl side kind of down. Coming out the top then here, we're going to add, and I'll do it just with my fingers here so you can see exactly the effect that we're getting. We're going to add an 11 O seed bead on both the right needle as well as the left needle. Take the next semicircle and we're going to face it the opposite way. So we're going to do it with the circle facing up. When you put those together, then they make almost a full circle. And we're going to let that fall down next to the start of our bracelet. We're going to separate out our circles with our rhombus beads. So again, the rhombus beads, when we put them on, we're going to use an 8 O seed bead to separate these out. I'm going to put an 8 O on each needle after the semicircle. Let that drop down. And then I'm going to put an 11 O on each needle and let that drop down. After that, we're going to pick up our first rhombus, and the rhombus are 2-holed as well. And with the rhombus, they don't have a front and a back, so it doesn't matter which needle you're putting through which hole. You're just going to drop them right down there and let it drop down on your piece. And the rhombus then will sit right in there. From there, you're going to add the opposite, 11 and then an 8 onto your needle, 11 and then an 8. After the 8 O seed bead, super simple, we're going right back into that semicircle. So the semicircle again, we're going to do face down, that the loop is towards the bottom. Let that drop down on our bracelet. Go ahead and add an 11 on the right and 11 on the left needle. Pick up your next semicircle so that bowl is facing towards the top, that archway, and let that drop down next to your bead. And you can see that fun kind of effect that you're getting with the diamond, round, diamond, round, diamond, round. So it's really geometrical. That's why I thought the cup button looked great with this. You're gonna do this again if you want to do a double wrap. You can do it long enough that it's gonna go around your wrist twice. Or you can do a single wrap and keep going with the design. I'm gonna keep going in, adding some length to the design and adding in my seed beads and the rhombus and the semicircle. Once you have your desired length, you're gonna go back and do the opposite on the end of the cup button, just like you did here. So you're gonna take 2 11-0s and put them on your thread and needle. 2 on the left and 2 on the right. And then let those drop down next to that last semicircle. If you end with a rhombus too to get your desired length, it doesn't matter, that way it looks like it's kind of ending opposite too. The next bead is going to be an 8-0, and again we cross through, 1 right through left and 1 left through right with the needle. That gets that nice kind of finished Y-ing effect. And now what we're going to do is with one of the needle, we're going to pick up about 25 of our 11-0 seed beads. This is going to create the loop for my button to sit inside of. So I just have 1 needle in my hand right now, and we'll reinforce it the opposite way. What we're also going to do then is, after we take the other needle and reinforce, we're going to go back down through the bracelet and come out near the cup button at the back, reinforcing that, going through with 1 loop, and then we'll tie off the thread. So again, in Kimmery's design, the nice thing is really you can use any 2-hole bead for this. You could use a disc duo with it. You could use a ruler with it. So lots of different options for what you're going to use. With your thread and needle, after you have those 25 beads on, go ahead and go back through the 8-0 in a circular fashion and give a nice tight pull. With your thread and needle on the other side, the left-hand side, go ahead and reinforce this loop. Again, Kimmery's design, she used some 0.018 Beta Lawn 49 strand beading wire. So you can use beading wire and crimp beads as well. So keep that in mind for those of you that don't do a ton of bead weaving. This, again, so many different 2-hole beads that this can be done with really, really nice and easily. Going back then, you're just going to take your needle that's on the right-hand side and go back through the entire project down the right-hand side. Usually can get back through a couple beads, pull your needle and thread out, go back through a couple beads as well, pull that needle and thread out, and so forth. So I'm going to come down to the very bottom, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to go in and actually go ahead and tie off the thread at the back of the cup button after we reinforce. So as I get to the end then with my, or I should say the beginning with my thread and needle, the one that's on the right, I'm going to go through the 11-0 seed beads, go through the 8-0 seed bead, up through the clasp, and if you have a regular clasp, now would be, you'd probably have wire guards on there as well too. You'd be doing the same exact thing. Coming down the other side, going through those 11-0 seed beads on the other side, through the 8-0, and then you're going to bring it down towards that starter thread on the, or that left-hand thread rather, on the other side. So I have those 2 threads right next to one another now. All I'm going to do, right over left, left over right, and tie that off. The really cool thing is when our staff members have fun and make things, we get to do videos, share with you what they're doing as well. So thanks to Kimmery for this design. Again, if you want to use some little wire ends too, she has some sterling lobsters on hers there and has fun coming out the end. You can, like I said, do this with tons of different beads, which is awesome too. And hopefully you learned how to start and finish if you do want to go through different beads. It'd be great to do kind of what I call an orphan bracelet also. Lots of singles of 2-hole beads with a great kind of mixed in with this as well. And then just have on hand those 11-0 or 8-0 seed beads that you can easily go from one bead to the other in that cute little design. So gather up whatever you want in those different 2 holes and have fun creating. Thanks so much to Kimmery for the fun designs in this full circle bracelet. Remember, the beauty of this bracelet is that you can do it with a multitude of different materials. If you need any materials, remember there's links below me in the description to purchase from us online at PotomacBeads.com as well as PotomacBeads.eu. Also keep in mind that you can subscribe to this YouTube channel and like the video as well if you want to get regular updates from us with ideas, product spotlights, and things that we think that you should know to help you become a better beader. Remember, as always, have fun and enjoy what you're creating. Thanks so much for watching.